Well, for more on China's environmental issues and how it's tackling them, I'm joined by Jennifer Turner. She's director of the China Environment Forum at the Woodrow Wilson Center. Welcome back to the show.
Hey, great to be here.
So as we look at some of the initiatives and environmental laws that China has put in place, how effective have they been so far?
We have to say mixed bag, right? I mean, we just heard that, more blue skies in Beijing, and we're not hitting the 1,000 AQI index that we were a few years ago, but it's still not great. I mean, you look at Beijing, a lot of northern city, even Shanghai, the air quality is still not what the public likes. You hear stories of people moving out to other provinces to protect their children from the air. That said, they've been moving out coal plants. Their, coal use has dropped over the past 3 years. And so it's like they've set in motion a lot of the mechanisms that could make it better. But I want to keep in mind, too, it wasn't in the quote that you just gave, but at the National People's Congress, the head of MEP talked about, too, how local governments are the weak link in a lot of the pollution problems. And I think, yes, that's true, but when you look at some cities in China, like Shenzhen down by Hong Kong, right. I mean, their skies are much cleaner. They have, they're really pushing green buildings. They've got some of the largest amount of green building space of any city in the world, electric vehicles. But they're also the same city that they're, like others in China, that they're solid waste. They can't control it. Construction waste. You remember the story a little over a year ago where Shenzhen had been piling their construction waste up in a quarry? It was 22 stories high, and then it collapsed and killed about 100 people. So I stick by mixed bag. I'm optimistic because, you've also seen announcements that local government officials are supposed to be held responsible, lifetime responsibility for pollution under their watch.
So a lot of this does really come down to implementation. We've got steps in the right direction, but more work to be done. So as you look at some of the top priorities when it comes to pollution control, what do you say stands out to you in China?
I mean, air and water, they're getting more media play. I think that the waste issue is going to percolate up, and that kind of brings up bad images. But I think what's actually maybe a more interesting angle to look at for you is like, well, what are the kind of solutions that are being promoted? I mean, there's the big top-down banning coal mines and things, but also some kind of innovative public-private partnerships. I mean, there's some companies that I've been looking at that, for example, one company in Guizhou province, that they've gone into cities and they're basically given control over the water sector. That's all right. You guys figure out we need clean water. So manage the wastewater treatment plants. And so they're coming up with more innovative solutions like capturing the methane from wastewater and sludge treatment plants and using it to power the plant. So it's kind of like sometimes a slogan, the public-private partnership, but that's one solution that's been, I think, keep an eye on. And
we're certainly seeing a lot more innovation in this space. We're also seeing some of these low-carbon parks to really try and reduce dust and improve the air quality there. How vital is this overall push, both to people's everyday lives and to the Chinese economy overall?
Well, I mean, it's critical. I mean, in the long run, I mean, you could you compare numbers from different organizations, but the pollution is costing the country it's hurting their economy, it's hurting people's health, and and concerns for political stability. I mean, one issue that's I should have mentioned is also a kind of solution. There's kind of talk about these kind of ecological red lines. Have you heard about that? Which it's kind of funny. When I first saw them, I'm like, wait, ecological red lines? And, creating protected areas where there's going to be a no development zone. So it's not quite a nature reserve. I mean, China has a long history of nature reserves, which traditionally have not been well protected. They've often been seen as, tourism development benefits, right?
So given that, then, what could be the challenges with this ecological red line?
Well, the ecological red line really appears to be focused on urban areas. I mean, they're starting with Beijing, Tianjin, Hebei, and down, Shanghai and the Yangtze River area. That they want to carve out spaces where there really will be no development. I mean, when you think, and this could be good, I mean, not only to create green space, protect drinking water, major concern in Chinese cities. Shanghai, amazingly, has said that 2/5 of their city is going to be under the ecological red line. That's about the equivalent of, I think, about 3 LAs. Right? That's a lot of space. But not all of that would be no development, that they're kind of fudging it a bit, saying that, well, some will be protecting farms and forests and wetlands and coastal waters. But the fact that Shanghai is saying this is amazing.
And Jennifer, just quickly, if you had to give examples of some countries that could be a real example of really good ecological preservation and environmental laws, what would they be?
I would say the United States. I mean, when you look at our our national parks and the kind of the green areas that, particularly our cities. I think that China has a lot to learn from U.S. cities. And we've been seeing a lot of U.S.-China city-to-city partnerships around low-carbon issues. And something that I want to kind of encourage in my work and meetings and matchmaking that I do is trying to get the cities to also talk to each other about how to protect green space. Because that's things that the central government can't do that. It has to happen at the local level.
Certainly requires a holistic approach. Thank you, as always, Jennifer Turner, Director of the China Environment Forum at the Woodrow Wilson Center.